Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the New Horizon, watching the stars slowly drift past the viewport. The ship moved through space at a steady pace, leading 11 other vessels in a long line through the Kepler corridor. This was their third day of travel, and everything seemed peaceful. The New Horizon was a large cargo ship, built for carrying supplies across the galaxy. Its hull was painted white with blue stripes, and the Federation symbol gleamed on its side. Inside, the ship carried medical equipment, food, and tools needed by the colonies on the outer rim of human space. Behind the New Horizon, other ships followed in formation. The Mercy's Call was a medical transport filled with doctors and nurses heading to help sick colonists. The Ironworks carried engineers and their equipment to build new settlements. Family ships like the Safe Harbor held hundreds of people moving to new homes among the stars. Morrison was a calm man in his 40s with gray hair and kind eyes. He had been flying cargo ships for 20 years and knew these routes well. The crew respected him because he always kept them safe and got the job done. Dr. Lisa Parker walked onto the bridge carrying a datapad. She was the chief medical officer for the whole convoy, a smart woman who cared deeply about helping others. Her brown hair was tied back, and she wore the standard blue uniform of the medical corps. "Captain, I just finished checking the health reports from all ships," she said. "Everyone is doing well. The children on the family ships are excited about seeing their new homes," Morrison smiled. "That's good to hear, Doctor. How long until we reach the halfway point?" "About 6 hours," replied Pete Collins from his station. Pete was the convoy's chief engineer, a big man with strong hands who could fix anything. He monitored all the ship's engines and made sure they ran smoothly. Amy Foster sat at the communications station, listening to messages between the ships. She was young and quick with computers, always making sure everyone could talk to each other. Her job was important because the convoy needed to stay together in the vast emptiness of space. "Captain," Amy said suddenly, her voice tense. Picking up something strange on the long-range sensors." Morrison walked over to her station. "What kind of strange?" Amy's fingers moved quickly over her controls. "There are ships out there. Lots of them. They're still far away, but they're moving toward us." Pete looked up from his engineering station. "Could they be other human ships?" "No," Amy shook her head. "The engine signatures are wrong. These are alien vessels. Dr. Parker frowned. "Are you sure? This is a neutral trade route?" "Aliens use it too, but they usually travel alone or in small groups." "I'm sure," Amy said. "And Captain, there are more contacts appearing." "From different directions." Morrison felt a cold feeling in his stomach. In all his years of flying cargo ships, he had never seen anything like this. "How many ships are we talking about?" Amy checked her screens again. "At least 100, maybe more. They're coming from 3 different directions." The bridge became very quiet. Everyone knew what this meant. No one brought that many ships together unless they were planning something big, and usually it was something bad. "Send a message to all ships in our convoy," Morrison ordered. "Tell them to maintain course and speed. Don't let anyone panic." Dr. Parker moved closer to the captain. "Jake, if there are really that many alien ships, we might be in serious trouble." Morrison nodded. He had been thinking the same thing. The human convoy only had 12 ships, and most of them were not built for fighting. They had some defensive weapons, but nothing that could stand against a real military force. "Amy, can you identify which alien races these ships belong to?" Morrison asked. Amy worked at her station for several minutes. "I'm getting energy signatures from 3 different types. Some look like Zephyrian bioships. Others match Vorthan battle cruisers, and there are some I've never seen before." Pete whistled softly. "Zephyrians and Vorthans working together? That's impossible. They hate each other." Dr. Parker looked worried. "If they're cooperating, then something very big is happening. Something that made them put aside their differences." Morrison thought about this. The Zephyrians were known for their large fleets and their ability to work together like insects in a hive. The Vorthans were proud warriors who loved to fight and never backed down from a challenge. If these two races were working together, it meant they had found an enemy they both feared or hated. "Captain," Amy said quietly, "I think that enemy might be us." The words hung in the air like a dark cloud. Morrison had heard rumors that some alien races were getting nervous about human expansion. Humans had been spreading across the galaxy quickly, building new colonies and making new trade agreements. Some aliens thought humans were becoming too powerful too fast. "Keep monitoring those ships," Morrison said, "and send a coded message to Earth Command." "Tell them our situation." "Already working on it," Amy replied. "But sir, it will take days for any help to reach us." Morrison knew she was right. They were far from any major human military base. Even if Earth Command sent their fastest ships immediately, the aliens would reach the convoy long before any help could arrive. Dr. Parker put her hand on Morrison's shoulder. "What are we going to do, Jake?" Before Morrison could answer, Amy's station started beeping rapidly. "Captain, I'm receiving a transmission. It's coming from the alien fleet." "Put it on the main screen," Morrison ordered. The screen flickered, and then showed the face of an alien creature. It had gray skin, large black eyes, and a mouth full of sharp teeth. Behind it, Morrison could see the bridge of an alien warship filled with strange technology. "Human vessels," the alien said in broken English. "I am Admiral Zethkar of the Zephyrian Hegemony. You are now surrounded by the combined fleets of 3 great powers. You have no chance of escape." Morrison stepped forward. "This is Captain Morrison of the Terran Federation. We are peaceful merchants traveling through neutral space. We have done nothing wrong." The alien's black eyes seemed to stare right through him. "You exist. That is wrong enough. Your species spreads like a disease across the galaxy. You must be stopped before you grow too strong." Another voice came from off-screen, speaking in a different alien language. Then a new face appeared next to the first one. This alien had red skin and burning yellow eyes. It wore what looked like military armor. "I am War Commander Vexthal of the Vorthan Empire," it said. "We care nothing for your peaceful words. Your people have shown they can fight when they must. We wish to test that strength." A third voice joined them, speaking in tones that seemed to echo strangely. The screen split again to show a creature that looked like it was made of living crystal. Its body shifted and changed as it spoke. "We are Overmind Kreshtal of the Crystalline Dominion," it said. "Your species is young but dangerous. You adapt too quickly. You learn too fast. You must be contained before you threaten the order of the galaxy." Morrison felt his heart beating faster, but he kept his voice calm. "We have families on these ships, children, innocent people who just want to build new homes." Admiral Zethkar made a sound that might have been laughter. "Yes, we know. That is why we chose this moment. When your people are most vulnerable, most likely to surrender without a fight." War Commander Vexthal leaned forward. "You have 1 hour to consider our terms. Surrender your ships and submit to our authority. Your people will be relocated to worlds where they can be properly supervised." Overmind Kreshtal's crystal body pulsed with strange light. "If you refuse, we will take your ships by force. Your families will watch as we demonstrate the price of human arrogance." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in shocked silence. Morrison looked around at his crew. Dr. Parker had tears in her eyes. Pete was clenching his fists. Amy was staring at her station, probably thinking about her own family back on Earth. "Captain," Pete said slowly, "what do we do now?" Morrison walked back to his command chair and sat down. He thought about the thousands of people in the convoy, families with children, old couples moving to retirement colonies, young people full of dreams about their new lives. Then, slowly, Morrison began to smile. Dr. Parker saw his expression and looked confused. "Jake, are you all right?" Morrison's smile grew wider. "Amy, send a message to all ships in the convoy. Tell them what's happening. Tell them exactly what the alien said." "Sir?" Amy looked uncertain. "That might cause panic." "No," Morrison said, still smiling. "It won't cause panic. Trust me." As Amy sent the message, Morrison sat back in his chair. The aliens thought they understood humans. They thought threatening families would make humans weak and afraid. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Outside the ship, the alien fleets continued to close in, confident in their overwhelming numbers and superior firepower. They had no idea that their carefully planned trap was about to become something very different. The real game was just beginning. The alien fleets moved into position around the human convoy like hunters surrounding their prey. From the bridge of the New Horizon, Captain Morrison watched the tactical display as hundreds of enemy ships took their places in a perfect circle. Around his 12 vessels. Amy Foster's hands moved quickly over her controls as she counted the enemy forces. Captain, final count shows 212 Zephyrian bioships approaching from the north. 158 Vorthan battle cruisers coming from the east, and 183 crystalline vessels phasing in from the south. Dr. Parker sat in a chair beside Morrison's command station. She had been visiting each ship in the convoy on her medical shuttles, checking on the passengers. The families are scared, but they're not panicking. The children keep asking their parents why everyone looks so worried. Pete Collins looked up from his engineering station. The alien ships are taking positions at exactly 20,000 kilometers. That puts us well within range of their weapons, but far enough away that they can react if we try anything. Morrison nodded. The aliens were being very careful. They had more than enough firepower to destroy the human convoy 100 times over, but they were still following proper military tactics. It showed they respected human abilities. Even if they thought the fight was already won, on the main screen, the alien ships looked like a deadly light show. The Zephyrian bioships pulsed with green and purple colors as they communicated with each other through some kind of biological network. The Vorthan battle cruisers glowed red with charged weapons and shield generators. The crystalline vessels flickered in and out of normal space, appearing solid one moment and ghostly the next. "Sir," Amy said, "I'm getting reports from all our ships. Everyone received your message about the alien demands." Morrison had told Amy to inform every ship in the convoy about the alien ultimatum. He wanted everyone to know exactly what they were facing. Most captains would have tried to keep such frightening news secret to prevent panic. But Morrison had his reasons. Ben Hayes stepped onto the bridge from the weapons control room. He was the New Horizons chief gunner, a quiet man who knew everything about ship defenses. "Captain, I've checked our weapons systems. We've got enough firepower to fight back, but against this many ships." "I know, Ben," Morrison said. "How are the other ships holding up?" "Nick Davis on the Guardian says his frigate is ready for anything. Maria Santos on the Deep Drill reports that her mining ship has some heavy drilling equipment that could be used as weapons if needed. But honestly, sir, we're looking at odds of about 50 to 1. Dr. Parker frowned. "Jake, I need to ask you something. Why did you tell everyone about the alien demands? The families on the passenger ships are terrified." Morrison turned to look at her. His strange smile from earlier was still there, though smaller now. "Doctor, what did you see when you visited those families?" "Fear, mostly, parents holding their children, people praying. Some crying," she paused. "But also something else, anger, real anger." "Exactly," Morrison said, "fear and anger. Do you know what humans do when they're afraid and angry at the same time?" Before Dr. Parker could answer, Amy's station started beeping. "Captain, incoming transmission from Admiral Zeth Carr." "Put him on screen," Morrison ordered. The gray-skinned Zephyrian appeared on the main display. Behind him, Morrison could see dozens of other aliens working at strange organic control stations. The alien admiral's black eyes seemed even colder than before. "Human captain," Zeth Carr said, "1 hour has passed. What is your answer to our demands?" Morrison stood up and walked closer to the screen. "Admiral, I need more time to discuss this with my people. We have many ships and many opinions to consider." War Commander Vexthal appeared next to Zeth Carr. The red-skinned Vorthan looked impatient. "There is nothing to discuss. You are defeated. Surrender now, or we will take your ships by force." "Commander," Morrison said calmly, "surely warriors like yourselves understand that important decisions take time. We're not just talking about ourselves here. We have civilians to think about. Overmind Crystal-S crystal form shifted into view. Your delays will not save you. Every moment you wait, more of our ships arrive. Soon you will face not 500 vessels, but 600. Morrison nodded as if this news troubled him greatly. I understand, but you must realize that humans value life highly. We can't just abandon our families without exploring every option. Admiral Zethkar made his harsh laughing sound again. What options do you have? You are 12 ships against our combined fleet. Your weapons are toys compared to ours. Your only choice is surrender or death, perhaps, Morrison said. But humans have a saying. When cornered, even a mouse will fight a cat. We just need time to make sure there's really no other way. The three alien commanders looked at each other. Morrison could see them talking in their own languages. Finally, Zethkar turned back to the screen. Very well. You have 6 more hours, but know this, human. When that time ends, we will show no mercy. Your families will pay the price for your stubbornness. The transmission ended. Morrison returned to his chair, and his crew looked at him with worried expressions. Captain, Pete said carefully, what are you planning? We can't fight that many ships. Morrison touched a control on his chair. This is Captain Morrison to all ships in the convoy. Senior officers, please report to the New Horizon for an emergency. Meeting, bring your tactical and communications people. Over the next hour, shuttles began moving between the human ships. From the medical transport Mercy's call came Dr. Jennifer Mills, the backup medical chief. The escort frigate Guardian sent tactical officer Nick Davis and communications specialist Linda Gray from the mining vessel. Deep drill came Supervisor Maria Santos and her chief engineer Carl Brown. The family transport safe harbor sent passenger coordinator Helen White, who also happened to be a former military officer. Even the small research vessel StarQuest contributed science officer Kevin Johnson, a man who knew more about alien technology than anyone else in the convoy. Soon, Morrison's conference room was filled with 20 people representing every ship in the convoy. They sat around a large table, looking nervous but determined. Morrison stood at the head of the table. I want to thank you all for coming. I know this situation looks hopeless, but I need to share some information with you. He activated a holographic display that showed the positions of all the ships. As you can see, we're completely surrounded. The aliens have us exactly where they want us. Captain Davis from the Guardian leaned forward. Sir, with respect, we all know how bad this looks. What we need is a plan to get our people out of here. Morrison smiled that strange smile again. Nick, what if I told you that we're not trapped here with them? What if they're trapped here with us? The room became very quiet. Dr. Mills spoke first. Captain, I'm not sure I understand. They have overwhelming numbers. Numbers aren't everything, Morrison said. He touched another control, and the display changed to show something new. Amy, show them what you've been monitoring. Amy Foster had been quiet during the meeting, but now she stood up. For the past 4 hours, I've been sending coded messages on channels the aliens can't detect. The messages have been going to deep space monitoring stations throughout this sector. Morrison nodded. Tell them what kind of messages, Amy. Position reports, Amy said. Detailed scans of every alien ship in the 3 fleets, their weapon configurations, shield frequencies, engine signatures, everything. Engineer Pete Collins looked confused. But Captain, what good does that information do us? Even if Earth Command knows what's happening here, they can't send help in time. Morrison's smile grew wider. Pete, who said anything about Earth Command sending help? He activated another display. This one showed energy readings from the convoy's ships. Dr. Mills, would you please explain to everyone what you've been doing? For the past 2 hours? Dr. Mills looked uncomfortable. I've been distributing medical supplies to key personnel on every ship. Standard procedure for a crisis situation. What kind of medical supplies? Morrison asked. Combat stimulants, neural boosters, pain suppressors, the kind of medications that enhance human performance in emergency situations. Maria Santos from the mining ship stared at Dr. Mills. Those Aren't standard medical supplies? Those are military drugs. Morrison nodded. Pete, would you please tell everyone what modifications you've been making to our ships? Pete looked around the room nervously. I've been activating backup systems. Hidden systems that were installed when these ships were built but never mentioned. In the standard manuals, what kind of hidden systems? Asked Helen White. Weapon systems, Pete said quietly. Shield generators. Engine boosters. These ships aren't what they appear to be. The room erupted in surprised voices. People started asking questions all at once. Morrison raised his hand for silence. Everyone, please listen carefully, he said. The aliens made one very big mistake. They assumed they knew what they were dealing with. They saw merchant ships and thought we were helpless. They saw families and thought we would be weak. Morrison looked around the table at each person. But they don't understand something important about humans. We don't become weak when our families are threatened. We become dangerous. The alien commanders watched their displays with growing confusion as new energy signatures appeared throughout the Kepler corridor. Admiral Zethkar's organic bridge pulsed with nervous bioluminescent patterns as his crew tried to identify the incoming contacts. Report, Zethkar commanded in his harsh voice. One of his bioship officers, a creature with pale skin and multiple eyes, worked frantically at a living control panel. Admiral, we are detecting massive energy signatures. Multiple fleets approaching from all directions. War Commander Vexthal's red face appeared on Zethkar's communication screen. Zephyrian, what is happening? My sensors show impossible readings. Before Zethkar could answer, Overmind Kreshtal's crystal form materialized next to them through the quantum communication link. This is unexpected. The human merchant convoy was supposed to be alone. Back on the New Horizon, Captain Morrison stood. In his conference room watching the tactical display, the alien fleet still surrounded his convoy, but new icons were appearing at the edge of the screen. Green symbols marked friendly forces approaching at incredible speed. Amy Foster checked her instruments with excitement in her voice. Captain, the first wave of ships will arrive in 15 minutes. Admiral Kate Brooks is commanding the battle group Retribution. Morrison nodded. Amy, open a channel to Admiral Zethkar. It's time we explain the situation to our guests. The main screen flickered to life, showing the three alien commanders together. They looked angry and confused, which was exactly what Morrison had hoped for. Admiral Zethkar, Morrison said politely, I believe you requested our response to your generous surrender terms. The gray-skinned Zephyrian leaned forward. Human, what are those ships approaching our position? This sector was supposed to be empty, Morrison smiled. Oh, those are our friends. We called them when you first surrounded us. They were in the neighborhood and decided to stop by. War Commander Vexthal's yellow eyes burned with rage. You dare to mock us? Even if you have called for help, it changes nothing. Our combined fleets still outnumber anything humans can send. That's an interesting theory, Morrison said. But I think you should look at your sensor readings more carefully. On the alien ships, tactical officers were indeed looking at their sensors with growing alarm. The approaching human fleet wasn't just large, it was huge. Hundreds of warships were dropping out of faster-than-light travel in perfect formation. Overmind. Kreshtal's crystal body pulsed with changing colors. This is impossible. Intelligence reports indicated this corridor was protected by only a small patrol force. Morrison chuckled. Your intelligence was correct, Overmind. This corridor normally is protected by a small patrol force. But you see, something interesting happened when you decided to bring 3 entire fleets to threaten a handful of merchant ships. He paused for effect. It made us curious about your real intentions. Dr. Parker stepped up beside Morrison. She had been quiet during the conference, but now she spoke directly to the alien commanders. Gentlemen, my name is Dr. Patricia Vale. I think we should talk. The aliens looked confused by the name change. Admiral Zethkar spoke first. You said your name was Parker before. That was my cover identity, Dr. Vale replied. My real job is studying alien psychology and biology. For the Terran Federation Science Division, I've been watching your species for years. She activated a holographic display that showed detailed information about each alien race. The Zephyrians communicate through biological networks and make decisions as a group. The Vorthans value honor and strength above all else. The Crystalline Dominion believes in maintaining universal order and stability. War Commander Vexthal snarled. What is your point, human scientist? My point, Dr. Vale said calmly, is that your three species have been enemies for centuries? You've fought countless wars against each other. The only thing that could make you work together is a common threat you all fear. Overmind Kreshtal's form shifted uneasily. You claim to be that threat? Morrison stepped forward again. Not claim, Overmind. We are that threat. And we've been waiting for you to make exactly this mistake. Amy Foster's station chimed with incoming messages. Captain Admiral Brooks is requesting permission to begin deployment. She has 47 heavy cruisers, 22 carriers with full fighter wings, and 15 siege dreadnoughts. The alien commanders looked shocked. Admiral Zefkar's black eyes widened. Impossible. Our intelligence report said humans have no major fleets in this sector. Your intelligence was wrong, Morrison said. Pete, would you please explain to our guests how human convoy protection really works? Pete Collins stood up from his engineering station. When humans send merchant convoys through space, we don't just hope they'll be safe. We make sure they're safe. He activated another display showing the positions of ships throughout the sector. Every human convoy has a shadow fleet. Military ships that follow at a distance, ready to respond to threats. The bigger the convoy, the bigger the shadow fleet. Maria Santos from the mining ship Deep Drill spoke up. And this convoy is carrying some very important cargo. What kind of cargo? Asked War Commander Vexthal suspiciously. Morrison smiled. The kind that's worth protecting with the largest shadow fleet in Federation history. Dr. Vale manipulated her display to show the contents of the convoy ships. The Deep Drill isn't just carrying mining equipment. It's carrying the new quantum processing units that will allow our colonies to communicate instantly across the galaxy. The Mercy's Call isn't just a medical transport, continued Pete Collins. It's carrying the research data for new biological weapons specifically designed to counter Zephyrian regeneration abilities. Amy Foster joined the explanation. The Ironworks contains manufacturing equipment that can build starships in space. No need for shipyards or space stations. Morrison watched the alien commanders' faces grow more worried with each revelation. You see, gentlemen, you didn't attack a helpless merchant convoy. You attacked the most valuable and heavily protected transport in human space. On the tactical display, more human ships continued to arrive. Admiral Steve Parker's carrier group brought its fighters into formation. Admiral Joe Mitchell's siege dreadnoughts powered up their massive weapons. Rear Admiral Chris Taylor's stealth destroyers were already in position. Though they remained invisible to alien sensors, Admiral Zethkar tried to maintain his authority. Even so, we still have superior numbers. Our 500 ships can fight. Your fleet, Morrison laughed. 500 ships? Admiral, you need to count again. Amy Foster checked her long-range sensors. Sir, I'm reading the arrival of Admiral Kate Brooks' second battle group. Admiral Eric Davis is bringing another 60 ships from the outer system. Admiral Roger Clark's tactical squadron just finished surrounding the alien rearguard. The truth was becoming clear to the alien commanders. They hadn't surrounded the human convoy. The human fleet had surrounded them. War-Commander Vexthal's face showed the first signs of real fear. This was a trap. The biggest trap in galactic history, Morrison confirmed. You spent months planning to attack our convoy. We spent months planning for you to attack our convoy. Dr. Vale stepped forward again. You see, we knew your species would eventually work together against us. Our psychological profiles predicted it perfectly. Zephyrians fear human adaptability. Vorthans want to test human strength. Crystallines worry about human expansion disrupting galactic order. She smiled coldly. So we gave you exactly what you wanted, a chance to test us when we appeared most vulnerable. Overmind Crystal's crystal form flickered rapidly. You used your own families as bait. Morrison's expression became deadly serious. We used our families as motivation. Do you understand the difference? On the display, human ships continued to arrive and take positions. The aliens found themselves completely surrounded by the largest human fleet ever assembled. Every escape route was blocked. Every tactical advantage had been neutralized. Captain Nick Davis from the Guardian frigate spoke up from his position. Captain Morrison, Admiral Brooks is requesting your orders. Morrison looked one last time at the alien commanders on the screen. Gentlemen, you came here to test human resolve. You threatened our families to make us weak and afraid. You believed this would force us to surrender. He paused to let his words sink in. Instead, you've given us the perfect opportunity to demonstrate something very important about humanity. Admiral Zethkar's voice was barely a whisper. What demonstration? Morrison's smile became cold and dangerous. When you threaten human families, you don't get weak, frightened civilians. You get the entire Terran Federation Navy arriving to explain why that was a very bad decision. Amy Foster checked her communications board. Captain, all fleet commanders are standing by for orders. Morrison straightened his uniform and prepared to give the command that would change galactic politics forever. Tell Admiral Brooks she is authorized to begin Operation Phoenix Rising. The real battle was about to begin, and the aliens were about to learn that threatening human families was the worst mistake they could possibly make. Admiral Kate Brooks sat in the command chair of the UFS Retribution, watching the tactical display as her fleet took positions around the alien forces. She was a veteran of 20 years of space combat with gray hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. Her battle group had been waiting in the outer system for this moment. Admiral, her tactical officer reported, all ships are in position. We have the alien fleet completely surrounded, Brooks nodded. Captain Morrison has done excellent work. Signal all ships to prepare for Operation Phoenix Rising, but wait for my command to engage. On the bridge of the New Horizon, Morrison watched as hundreds of human warships moved into attack formation. The aliens who had thought they were hunters were now trapped like animals in a cage. Admiral Zethkar's voice came over the communication channel, filled with panic. Human Captain, this changes nothing. We still have superior firepower. Our weapons can destroy your fleet. Morrison looked at Dr. Vale, who was standing beside his command chair. She nodded and stepped forward to address the alien commanders. Admiral Zethkar, Dr. Vale said calmly, I need to tell you about some recent developments in human military technology. She activated a display showing technical specifications. For the past 5 years, my research team has been studying samples of Zephyrian bioarmor, Vorthan energy shields, and crystalline phase-shifting technology. War Commander Vexthal interrupted angrily. How did you obtain such samples? Dr. Vale smiled. From the wreckage of ships that attacked human colonies? Every time one of your species raided our territory, we learned something new about your weaknesses. She changed the display to show new human weapons. These quantum disruptors are specifically designed to disrupt Vorthan energy matrices. The biovirus warheads will shut down Zephyrian regeneration systems, and the temporal anchor fields will prevent crystalline ships from phasing out of normal space. Overmind Crystal's crystal form pulsed with alarm. This is impossible. Our technologies are beyond human understanding. We're beyond human understanding, corrected Pete Collins from his engineering station. Humans are very good at learning from their enemies. Morrison activated the ship-wide communication system. This is Captain Morrison to all vessels. You are authorized to begin combat modifications. Throughout the convoy, the peaceful merchant ships began to transform. Hidden weapon ports opened in their hulls. Shield generators emerged from concealed compartments. Engine systems that had appeared simple suddenly showed their true military-grade power. The safe harbor, which had been carrying families to new colonies, revealed fusion torpedo launchers and particle beam arrays. The Star Quest, the small research vessel, deployed sensor jammers and electronic warfare equipment that immediately began disrupting alien communications. Maria Santos spoke from the bridge of the deep drill. "Captain Morrison, my mining ship is ready for combat. The drilling lasers have been reconfigured as anti-ship weapons." Ben Hayes reported from the weapons control room. "Sir, all hidden systems are online. The New Horizon is showing its true capabilities." Morrison smiled as he watched the transformation. "Amy, send a message to Admiral Brooks. Tell her the convoy is ready to support fleet operations." Admiral Brooks received the message and opened a channel to all human ships. "This is Admiral Brooks to all Federation forces. You are witnessing the largest coordinated deception in military history. Our merchant convoy has successfully lured 3 alien fleets into the perfect trap." She paused to let her words sink in across the fleet. "These aliens came here believing they could terrorize human families. They thought threatening civilians would make us weak. They were wrong. On the alien ships, panic was spreading through the crews. The Zephyrium bioships tried to communicate with each other through their biological networks, but human jammers were disrupting their signals. The Vorthan warriors found their proud battle cruisers unable to lock weapons on targets that kept disappearing from their sensors. The crystalline vessels attempted to phase out of normal space, only to discover they were held in place by temporal anchor fields." Admiral Zethkar's voice cracked with desperation. "This is a violation of all galactic treaties. Merchant vessels are not allowed to carry military weapons." Morrison laughed. "Admiral, these aren't merchant vessels carrying military weapons. These are military vessels disguised as merchant ships. There's a very important difference." Dr. Vale activated another display. "You see, when we learned that your 3 species were planning a joint attack, we needed a way to bring all your fleets together in one place, so we created the perfect bait." She showed shipping records and manifests. "We let your spies discover that a valuable convoy would be traveling through this corridor. We made sure your intelligence networks learned about the important cargo we were carrying. We even timed the journey to coincide with when your fleets would be in position." War Commander Vextel stared at the display in horror. "You planned this entire scenario?" "Every detail," Morrison confirmed. "From the route we took to the cargo we carried to the timing of our departure. We gave you everything you needed to plan the perfect attack." Amy Foster checked her sensors. "Captain, Admiral Steve Parker's carrier group is launching fighters. 200 combat ships are moving into attack formation." On the main tactical display, the true size of the human fleet became clear. Admiral Joe Mitchell's siege dreadnoughts powered up weapons that could destroy entire space stations. Rear Admiral Chris Taylor's stealth destroyers revealed themselves, showing that they had been positioned among the alien ships for hours. Morrison addressed the alien commanders one final time. "Gentlemen, you made several serious mistakes today. First, you assumed that humans would be weak when their families were threatened. Second, you believed that merchant ships couldn't fight back. And third, you thought that humans wouldn't sacrifice their own people to win a war." He gestured to the families on the passenger ships. "But you misunderstood something fundamental about human nature. We didn't sacrifice our families, we used them as inspiration." Dr. Vale nodded. "Every person on these ships volunteered for this mission, the families, the engineers, the medical staff. Everyone knew the risks. They came anyway because they believed in protecting human space." Captain Nick Davis spoke from the Guardian frigate. "Admiral Brooks, the alien fleets are trying to break formation and escape." Brooks's voice came over the communication channel. "All ships, engage the enemy. Show them what happens when you threaten human families." The space around the convoy erupted into the largest battle in galactic history. Human warships opened fire with weapons specifically designed to counter alien defenses. The quantum disruptors tore through Vorthan energy shields like paper. Biovirus warheads shut down Zephyrian regeneration systems, causing their ships to die like massive wounded animals. Temporal anchor fields held crystalline vessels in normal space where human weapons could destroy them. The alien fleets, despite their overwhelming numbers, found themselves completely outmatched. Every tactical advantage they had counted on was neutralized. Every weapon system they trusted was countered by human technology they had never seen before. Admiral Zethkar's bioship shuddered as human fighters swarmed around it, their weapons designed specifically to disrupt Zephyrian nervous systems. "Impossible," he gasped. "Humans cannot adapt this quickly." Morrison's face appeared on every alien ship's communication screen. "Admiral, you spent centuries learning how to fight each other. We spent 5 years learning how to fight all of you." War Commander Vexthal watched as his proud battle cruisers fell one by one to human weapons that ignored Vorthan armor and shields. "This is not honorable combat," he protested. "Honor," Morrison replied, "is protecting innocent people from those who would harm them. Everything else is just ego." Overmind Crystal's crystal form flickered as temporal anchors prevented escape into other dimensions. "You have disrupted the natural order of the galaxy," Morrison smiled coldly. "We've created a new order. One where threatening human families has consequences." The battle raged for 3 hours, but the outcome was never in doubt. The human fleet systematically destroyed or captured every alien ship that refused to surrender. The 3 most powerful military forces in the galaxy were defeated by a species they had thought was too young and weak to be a real threat. When the fighting finally ended, Morrison looked out at the debris field that had once been 3 proud alien fleets. "Amy, open a channel to all surviving alien vessels." Morrison's voice carried across space to the handful of alien ships that had surrendered. "This is Captain Morrison of the Terran Federation. You came here to test human resolve. Consider yourselves educated." 3 days after the battle, Captain Morrison stood in the main conference room of the New Horizon. The room had been expanded with portable modules to accommodate representatives from all the surviving alien ships. Admiral Zethkar sat at one end of the table, his gray skin pale and his black eyes showing defeat. War Commander Vexthal's red face was marked with shame, while Overmind Crystal's crystal form flickered weakly. Admiral Kate Brooks sat beside Morrison. Representing the full authority of the Terran Federation Navy, Dr. Patricia Vale had prepared detailed psychological profiles of each alien leader, helping the humans understand how to proceed with negotiations. Morrison looked around the table at the gathered representatives. "Gentlemen, we are here to discuss the future relationship between our species and yours." Admiral Zethkar spoke first, his voice barely above a whisper. "Human Captain, our fleets are destroyed. Our crews are dead or captured. We have no power to negotiate anything." "That's where you're wrong," Morrison replied. "You have something very valuable to offer, information." Dr. Vale activated a holographic display showing star charts of the galaxy. "For years, our 3 species have been expanding in different directions. Humans have been moving toward the outer rim. Zephyrians have been spreading through the biological rich systems. Vorthans have been claiming the mineral-heavy worlds. Crystallans have been establishing order in the ancient sectors." She highlighted conflict zones on the map. "But expansion means our territories are starting to overlap. That creates tension and leads to incidents like yesterday's battle." War Commander Vexthal looked up from the table. "What do you propose, humans? That we surrender all our territory to your expanding empire?" Morrison shook his head. "Commander, we don't want your territory. We want something much more valuable. We want peace." Overmind Crystal's form pulsed with confusion. "Peace? After demonstrating such overwhelming military superiority, you speak of peace?" "Exactly because we demonstrated overwhelming military superiority," Morrison explained. "Yesterday's battle wasn't fought to conquer your territories. It was fought to prevent future wars." Admiral Brooks leaned forward. "Let me explain what happened here from a strategic perspective. Your 3 fleets represented the combined military power of your species. Our fleet represented less than 20% of current Federation naval strength." The alien leaders stared at her in shock. Admiral Zethkar's voice cracked. 20%? But your fleet numbered over 800 vessels." "Correct," Brooks confirmed. "The Federation currently operates over 4,000 frontline warships, with more being built every month. What you faced yesterday was a small portion of our true capabilities. Dr. Vale continued the explanation. You see, humans learned something important during our early expansion. War is expensive, war is wasteful, war kills people we care about. So we developed a different approach to conflict resolution. She changed the display to show human colonies and trade routes. Instead of conquering other species, we prefer to trade with them. Instead of destroying alien technology, we prefer to study it and improve our own. Instead of enslaving alien populations, we prefer to hire them as partners and advisors. Morrison stood up and walked around the table. Yesterday's battle serves as a demonstration. Now every species in the galaxy knows what happens when humans are threatened. But more importantly, they know we have the power to choose peace instead of war. War Commander Vexville looked confused. Choose peace? You could conquer our homeworlds. You could demand tribute and submission. We could, Morrison agreed. But what would that accomplish? Conquest creates enemies. Fear creates resistance. Domination creates rebellion. He stopped walking and faced the alien commanders, but partnership creates prosperity. Trade creates mutual benefit. Respect creates lasting peace. Admiral Brooks activated another display showing proposed trade agreements. The Federation is prepared to offer your species something unprecedented in galactic history. Full partnership status in human space. Admiral Zethkar stared at the documents. Partnership? After we attacked your convoy? After we threatened your families? Dr. Vale smiled. Admiral, you attacked our convoy because you were afraid of human expansion. You threatened our families because you thought it would make us weak. Both actions were based on misunderstanding what humans actually want. She gestured to the families who had been aboard the passenger ships. Those families you threatened? They're still planning to build colonies on the outer rim. The difference is, now they want to build those colonies with alien partners who can teach them about local conditions and native ecosystems. Morrison returned to his seat. The engineers. You frightened? They're excited about studying alien technology and finding ways to improve it. The doctors you tried to intimidate? They want to learn alien medicine and develop treatments that work for all species. Pete Collins spoke from his position at the engineering station. Commander Vexthal, your people are master warriors and weapon designers. The Federation would like to hire Vorthan military advisors to help train our defense forces. Amy Foster looked up from her communications console. Admiral Zethkar, Zephyrian biological technology is incredibly advanced. Our medical researchers would pay enormous sums to learn from your scientists. Ben Hayes added from the weapons control station. Overmind Kreshtal crystalline phase shifting technology could revolutionize human transportation. We'd like to negotiate licensing agreements for peaceful applications. The alien leaders looked at each other with growing amazement. Overmind Kreshtal spoke first. You offer us partnership after defeating us in battle? Morrison nodded. We offer you partnership because we defeated you in battle. Now you know we can destroy you if necessary. But more importantly, we're showing you that we prefer to work with you instead. Dr. Vale activated a final display showing economic projections. Gentlemen, war between our species would be devastating for everyone. Millions would die. Entire worlds would be destroyed. Centuries of progress would be lost. She highlighted the benefits of cooperation. But partnership would make all our species richer, safer, and more advanced than any of us could become alone. Admiral Brooks stood up and walked to the viewing port, looking out at the mixed fleet of human and alien ships. Your attack on our convoy has actually created an opportunity. Every species in the galaxy is watching to see how this situation resolves. Morrison joined her at the viewing port. If we destroy your fleets and conquer your worlds, we become the new galactic empire that everyone fears and fights against. If we offer partnership and cooperation, we become the Galactic Federation that everyone wants to join. War Commander Vexthal slowly stood up from his chair. Human Captain, if we accept this partnership, what guarantee do we have that you won't simply conquer us later when you become even stronger? Morrison turned back to face him. Commander, the same guarantee you have right now. If humans wanted to conquer the galaxy, we would have started yesterday. The fact that we're sitting here talking instead of ruling from your homeworlds should tell you something about human intentions. Admiral Zefkar looked at the partnership documents again. These trade agreements are remarkably generous, almost too generous, Dr. Vale smiled. Admiral, humans learned something important during our history. Happy partners are more productive than angry slaves. Willing allies are more reliable than conquered enemies. Morrison returned to the table and sat down. Gentlemen, yesterday you tried to surround and destroy a human convoy. Today we're offering you the chance to help build a galactic civilization where such conflicts become unnecessary. Overmind Kreshtal's crystal form pulsed with new colors. And if we refuse this partnership? Morrison's expression became serious. Then you return to your homeworlds with the knowledge that humans have the power to destroy you but chose not. 2. You can use that information however you wish. Admiral Brooks added, but you should also know that our offer of partnership has an expiration date. Human expansion will continue with or without your cooperation. The question is whether you want to be part of that expansion or in the way of it. The alien leaders spent several hours discussing the offer among themselves. Finally, Admiral Zefkar spoke for all of them. Human Captain, we accept your partnership proposal. But we have one question, Morrison waited. Why do you smile when facing overwhelming odds? Yesterday, when our fleet surrounded your convoy, your crew smiled instead of showing fear. We need to understand this human behavior. Morrison looked around the room at his crew, at the alien leaders, and at the viewing port showing the peaceful mixed fleet outside. Admiral, humans smile in the face of danger because we know something important about ourselves. He paused. We know that threatening human families doesn't make us weak. It makes us incredibly dangerous. And we know that no matter how overwhelming the odds appear, humans always find a way to protect what we love. Dr. Vale nodded. That's why we smile when surrounded, Admiral. Not because we're not afraid, but because we know that anyone who threatens human families has made a mistake they will regret. Morrison stood up and extended his hand to Admiral Zefkar. Welcome to the Terran Federation, Admiral. Let's build a better galaxy together.